Hey everyone, I'm Alicia Malone. Welcome to another episode of Fandango Indie Movie Guide. Here I'm up to my third round of Oscar nominations and I'm up to Best Actor and Best Actress. So the nominees for Best Lead Actor are Timothée Chalamet, Daniel Day-Lewis, Daniel Kaluuya, Gary Oldman, Denzel Washington. Now looking at each of these a little bit closer, Timothée Chalamet is now the third youngest Best Actor nominee ever. The top two are Jackie Cooper for Skippy in 1931, aged just 9, and Mickey Rooney in Babes in Arms from 1939, aged 19. Timothée is just 22 years old and he plays Elio in Call Me By Your Name, which is a heartbreaking and beautiful love story opposite Armie Hammer.
Shouldn't have said anything. Just pretend you never did.
And this is the first time since 1989 that we have two Best Lead Actors who are in their 20s. The other is Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out. He is wonderful as Chris in Jordan Peele's multi-layered horror film that says so much about racism. It's really scary too, and it's all grounded by Daniel's performance.
If there's too many white people, I get nervous.
The other Daniel in this category is, of course, Daniel Day-Lewis. He already has the most Best Actor Oscars in history with 3, and if he wins in this category, he will tie with Katharine Hepburn for the most wins across all 4 acting categories. Here, he's nominated for Phantom Thread, where he plays Reynold Woodcock, which is a name that he came up with himself, a fashion designer in 1950s London. And apparently this is his last movie too. Daniel Day-Lewis has said he's going to retire after this movie. I really hope that's not the case.
This was an ambush. Stop! Are you sent here to ruin my evening? And possibly my entire life? Stop it!
Gary Oldman, this is surprisingly only his second Oscar nomination in an incredible filmography. Here he's up for Darkest Hour, where he plays Winston Churchill. This is an impressive performance, much more than just makeup gimmick, it's a complete transformation.
When will the lesson be learned? You cannot reason with a tiger when your head is in its mouth!
And Denzel Washington has his 8th Oscar nomination for Roman J. Israel Esquire. He has expanded on his own record as the most nominated black actor in history. He plays the title character in this film, who is an aging lawyer trying to figure out his place in modern day society and with all the activism that's going on right now.
I'm sorry, why are the sisters standing and the brothers sitting?
That's gendered and sexist.
And polite.
And patronizing.
And polite.
So my prediction, gosh, we got some of the best actors in history in this category, plus some very promising new stars, but it's got to be Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour. Put your money on this one. This is a safe bet. It's a front runner. I'll be so surprised if he doesn't win, not only for this brilliant performance, but it's going to kind of also be for his career too. Now let's look at Best Lead Actress. The nominees are Sally Hawkins, Frances McDormand, Margot Robbie, Saoirse Ronan, and Meryl Streep. And this is pretty rare because we have 4 out of the 5 Best Lead Actress nominees who are in Best Picture nominees. So everyone except for Margot Robbie and I, Tonya, because that movie didn't get a Best Picture nomination. So, make of that what you will, that is extremely, extremely rare when it comes to Best Lead Actress. But let's take a look at these nominees closer. We've got Sally Hawkins. This is her 2nd Oscar nomination, and it's got to be almost some kind of record that she's nominated for a role where she pretty much says nothing at all. She plays a mute janitor in The Shape of Water who falls in love with a fishman.
Oh God, it's not even human.
Frances McDormand, you can see her in 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri right now on FandangoNOW. This is her 5th Oscar nomination and it could be her 2nd win. She plays the lead character in 3 billboards, a mother who is trying to deal with the murder of her daughter and her frustration at the police, who she thinks are not doing enough.
You didn't happen to drill a little hole in the dentist today, did you?
Of course not.
Huh?
I said, of course not.
Then we have Margot Robbie, my girl from Australia, with her first Oscar nomination, playing Tonya Harding in a film that she also produced, I, Tonya. This is a dark and very funny look at Tonya's life and that incident with Nancy Kerrigan.
I mean, come on! What kind of friggin' person bashes in their friend's knee? Who would do that to a friend?
Saoirse Ronan is nominated for Lady Bird, and you can see Lady Bird right now on FandangoNOW. It is a wonderful film, and at just 23 years old, Saoirse is the second youngest three-time Oscar nominee, just beaten by Jennifer Lawrence, who is also 23 years old, but just by a couple of months. Saoirse gives a very funny and relatable performance here as Christine, aka Lady Bird.
What I'd really like is to be on Math Olympiad.
But math isn't something you're terribly strong in.
That we know of yet.
And then we have Meryl Streep. This is her 21st Oscar nomination. She has beaten her own record to be the most nominated actor in Oscar history. Here she's nominated for The Post, where she plays Katharine Graham, who was the publisher of the Washington Post. At the time when the Pentagon Papers were published, she had a big decision about whether to run with it and risk getting in trouble from the White House or to stay silent.
Do you have the papers?
Not yet.
Those ladies are incredible, but when it comes to my prediction, I am saying Frances McDormand in 3 Billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri. There could be an upset with someone like Saoirse Ronan squeezing in at the last second, but I think that Frances has been winning awards up to this stage, and she does a great job in that movie. Those are my predictions, but I want to know about you. Let me know in the comments below or on Twitter at Alicia Malone. Who do you think will win Best Lead Actor and Best Lead Actress? And I'll see you next week with more Oscar predictions.